Hello, it's me, Joseph Carrabis. I'm going to read the Grand Tour this time. And as I may have mentioned on the other videos for the Midnight Garden series, um, most of the time my flash fiction comes to me fully formed and requires very little editing or changing. Excuse me, this time, the Grand Tour, the original version of the Grand Tour, which was not a flash piece, was written sometime in the 1990s. And as often is the case, I thought it was wonderful, but nobody wanted it because it sucked. And they were correct. It did suck. So I reworked it and reworked it and reworked it. And about 2 years ago, I looked at it again and I realized what the story was truly about. I had multiple characters. I had the main character talking to a secondary character and blah, blah. And no, so what I finally settled on was the main character. Why would he be doing what happens in the story? And then I came up with all of his history, which got into the story. So central components are still there. The demonstration of the central components is very different. Hope you enjoy. The Grand Tour by Joseph Carrabis. Mace stepped out of his tractor into the early August heat of the Boston blast zone. He listened for the ocean. It shouldn't be too far away. Much of Boston was landfill, and the bombs, the big ones hidden for years in abandoned buildings, caused the sea to reclaim its own. The stench of the Charles entered him like swallowed bile, and he watched the waves come up from the east, from the Atlantic, as if the ocean pushed the Charles' filth back, refused it, said, "No thanks, those bodies and wrecks are yours. Keep them to yourself. I don't need them." The young girl's voice called him from the bunker. "Hello? I'm not going to open the door until you tell me who you are." Mace lifted his service pack out of the tractor, strapped it on his back, and tightened his belt around his waist. She called again. "Hello? Can you hear me?" Just inside the tractor's door on the right, and only visible when the door's pneumatics opened it fully, rested a high-resolution mezuzah, a photograph of a little girl, her arms raised and waiting to be lifted by someone, to be carried, her eyes and smile open and wide, her blonde hair caught in a gentle wind. Mace's fingers went from his lips to the photograph and he tapped the door to close. "Hello? I know you're out there. Who are you? Answer me." 100 feet separated him from the bunker. He listened at each step. Sometimes he'd step at an angle, listen, step back, listen, step to the other side, listen, triangulating to make sure he heard it right. 100 feet. He made it into 100 steps. To be sure, no mistakes. Slow, listen. What did they say? How was it said? How come they all sounded like Janie? Did they always sound like Janie? To him, they always sounded like Janie or Rose. They were sufficient warning. They had sufficient time. Step, wait, listen, step. Janie and Rose were at the far end of their field when he called them. He waved, called. Rose on her phone, even as he waved, told her, "Hurry, the bombs, microatomics, coming down in swarms from satellites re-entering the atmosphere." Step, wait, listen, step. The sky literally darkened, black thunderclouds of swarm bots that glistened in the sunlight. Rose picked up Janie and ran. She kept waving, clawing the empty air, pulling them in, drawing them into their shelter, into the protection they'd mortgaged their home for, the latest and best, but his arms held nothing. That's when the first little thunder struck. Step, listen, step. Rolling thunder, like big trees falling in succession, monstrous dominoes crashing to the earth. A fleet of far-off Herculean trucks approaching, climbing uphill, their engines straining to make the grade. Listen, step. He willed Janie and Rose towards him. Something banged his head. "It's no longer safe, Mace. I'm closing the shelter doors." The little girl called, "I know you're out there. Help me. Please help me." The shelter's heavy doors pushed him in. "No, wait, stop. Where was the override? Stop." The AI didn't listen. It was top of the line, state of the art. It would always do what was best. Rose and Janie, 100 feet away, screaming, their eyes already blinded, their ears already deafened, running, running, running. And the doors closed, sealed, a womb in reverse, keeping him in, keeping him safe. And when the AI deemed all danger past, he opened the doors. Rose and Janie remained where he last saw them, statues of salt and ash. He signed up the next day. They trained him, assigned him a tractor. He added Janie's picture to remember. He approached from the side. Where are you? I can't see you anymore. He spoke the words they taught him to be safe. The bunker doors opened. He stuck his head in. No one. Nothing. Oh, thank God you're here. I didn't know if anybody survived. What's your name? My name is. He threw a charge at the AI in the bunker's corner, stepped out and closed the bunker's door. He traced the bunker's outline and placed charges carefully. He opened the tractor's door, moved his fingers from his lips to Janie's picture, sat in the control seat, sent the detonation signal. The explosion rocked the tractor. He waited for the smoke to clear. No one. Nothing. For you, my little girl, and for you, my love. For you. He fired up the tractor, waited for it to lock onto another signal, engaged the caterpillar, and headed off. So as you can see, that story, The Grand Tour, and I hope you catch the title, is really a story about loss. And that's what I realized it was about. The only line in this version, which has survived through more than 20 years or so, is that some bombs were hidden for years in abandoned buildings. That was the one piece from the original script or text that remained in this version. And of course, this is a statement about AI. Surprise. That's for all you guys out there who have Siri and whatever else. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.